One of the most asked questions we hear is, how can I find out where my ancestors came from? Here are 8 possible sources that could help you determine your ancestral town before coming to the United States. When looking for a specific town birthplace, generally, documents that were completed closest to the date of arrival are more likely to have a town name than documents completed after your ancestors started to consider the U.S. their home. So following your ancestors' timeline, here are 8 tips. Number 1. Passenger manifests. On a post-1906 2-page passenger manifest, you are likely to find a set of columns at the end of page 2 that ask for an immigrant's country and town of birth. Considering the information is coming from an immigrant speaking in one accent and recorded by a clerk hearing the response in another, there may be very different spellings for the town entered in this column. We'll show you how you can still use this information to your advantage in this video. Number 2. Naturalization documents. Both the declaration and the petition for naturalization ask the immigrant where they were born. The answer usually given is the actual town name instead of a region or closest big city. Naturalization documents are some of the best documents you can find for much of your ancestors' information. Number 3. World War registration cards. There are 3 draft registrations for World War I for men of age between 1917 and 1918. Since these years are close to when many immigrants arrived, when asked for their birthplace, the registrant usually wrote the town name. Here we see Jeleń, Rus, Poland as the response. But notice the birthplace listed on the World War II draft registration card, further away from the immigrant's arrival, is only Russia. The World War I card is extremely helpful, whereas the World War II card is not. Number 4. Social Security applications. If you're lucky, the SS5 application, used by workers to receive their Social Security number, may include the town where they were born. However, since Social Security wasn't signed into law until 1935 and payments didn't start until 1937, this is another form that may be too far away from the applicant's arrival to include a specific town name. Number 5. Obituaries from local newspapers. If an obituary was printed by a local newspaper and the person who submitted the information knew where the deceased was born, the obituary would be a good source for that information. It may be a long shot, but it's always helpful to get lucky when doing your research. The last 3 sources are possible but less probable. Number 6. Vital records. Birth, marriage, and death certificates. Of course, if you could get a birth certificate, then you would have known where the person was born. If you're lucky, marriage certificates might include the town name where the groom and bride were born. And if the person giving the information for the death certificate knew the deceased's birthplace, you could find the information here. Number 7. Cemetery Landsmannschaft sections. Another possibility involves Landsmannschaft sections in large cemeteries. These are sections where groups of people from the same town in the old country got together and created a social group. One of the benefits of membership was that you could purchase a burial plot from the society within their section. If your ancestor is buried in one of these sections, it may be a clue as to the town where they came from. Number 8. Headstones. And finally, you could really get lucky and find the deceased's birthplace right on their headstone. Of course, this information probably came from the same person that composed the obituary or submitted the information for the death certificate. Finally, what should you do when you find a town name on a document? We already noted that town names on documents could have changed over time based on moving boundaries, could be a Yiddish adaptation of a civil name, or could have been spelled very differently. I would suggest you use JewishGen's community database to check the alternate names for the towns you find. Go to www.jewishgen.org and from the database's drop-down menu, click on Town Finder, which gets you to the community's database homepage. Enter the name of your town, as best as you can spell it, and press Start the Search. You'll then get to a page that gives you all the known alternate names for that town. They'll include the names under different political control, as well as Yiddish names that residents used. You'll also see a helpful table that shows you the town, district, province, and country for each of the 4 time periods since the beginning of the last century. We hope that finding these documents will help you find your ancestral towns. Don't be surprised if you find different towns on different documents. Whatever you find, you'll now have a better chance to start your research into the old country. This has been another helpful video from the Jewish Genealogy Society of Long Island. Please visit our website at www.jgsli.org for more information on our monthly speakers, beginners workshop, and other projects and resources. And visit our Facebook page where you can take part in conversations with experienced researchers. Whether you're on Long Island or an out-of-towner, we'd love to hear from you. Good luck with your research,